I think this is a cool enough script to warrant wrapping in a UI, but let's do it this time with the Visual MaxScript rollout editor. In the Edit menu of a script editor, there are two Visual MaxScript items, Edit Rollout and New Rollout. If you click anywhere inside an existing rollout definition, you can use Edit Rollout to edit the UI control layout in Visual MaxScript. We don't have a definition yet, so I'm going to create one with New Rollout, and this will generate a chunk of script for me. So I need to place the cursor where I want the new rollout code to go, say down here for the moment. Okay, New Rollout. This brings up a layout editing window with an empty rollout on the left, various properties that you can change on the right, and a toolbar of UI controls you can add down the bottom. We want 3 pick buttons, one to pick the controlling curve, another for the ground surface, and one more for the master tree. Then say a set of 3 spinners for setting the tree count, the curve offset, and the tree scale ranges. So first let me turn on grid snapping, and then widen the rollout a little bit. Now I'll choose the group tool down here and drag out an area for the pick buttons. Choose a pick button down here and place it up here. And I'll change its name to Pick Curve and its caption to None, signifying that we haven't picked one yet when the rollout first comes up. Then I'm going to place a label right next to it that says Pick Curve. Okay, I've done exactly the same for the surface picker and the master tree picker. Now I'll adjust the group box by dragging this handle to make things fit nicely. If I click Save at this point, you see a rollout definition magically appears in the script. Now another group box. Labeled Tree Parameters. And let's put a spinner here. We'll call this tree count, and with a caption, tree count. And let's make it, instead of a float, we'll make it an integer. We'll make the range 1 to 1000, and we'll make the default value 100. If I click Save again, you'll notice that the definition back in the script window has been updated to include the new UI items, this group box and the spinner. Okay, so I've completed the spinners. I've added a pair of spinners for offset, from and to, and a pair of spinners for scale, again, the low scale range and the high scale range. And now I want to add a create button. So I'll grab a button here, drag it out, and we'll call this button Create, and caption Create Trees. Save to update the definition back in the script window, and let's close the layout editor, and here we are back in the script editor with the full rollout definition ready for me to add handlers for the various buttons and spinners. You'll notice that it has generated UI controls with explicit position, width, and height parameters. So it's overriding the default layout that MaxScript has been generating for all of the other rollouts that you've seen so far. This is fine. It just means that you pretty much have to make any changes back in Visual MaxScript, which you can do just by clicking anywhere in the rollout definition and selecting Edit Rollout from the Edit menu. Okay. I've gone ahead and added the handlers. There's one for each of the pick buttons, and they follow the pattern we've already seen for these and store each of the picked objects in a rollout local variable that I've declared up here at the top. The original tree planting loop is now down here inside the create button handler, suitably modified to pick up all the count and offset range and scale range parameters from the appropriate spinners. Here, for example, the loop count now comes from the tree count spinner .value property. And down here, the road and ground objects are the curve and surf local variables that contain the objects that we picked with the appropriate pick button. Okay, so let's test it. Drag it out of the way a bit. Click in here, Control E, and here is our tool, ready to go. So I'll pick the curve, pick the surface, pick the master tree, click Create Trees, and here they come. I trust you found this presentation useful and that you're inspired to go and write some cool scripts. A 3D package as complex as Max is an ideal host for scripting, and I think you'll find that it should really enhance the work you can do with Max. There are, of course, a number of Max script features we didn't get a chance to cover, like scripted plugins and persistent variables and callback scripts and so on, and I would encourage you to explore these in the online docs and by studying the large number of freeware scripts now available on the web. There are also many excellent additional resources to help you get going with MaxScript, both on the web and in books, and several of these are listed at the end of the presentation. So, thanks again for watching and happy scripting.